Well, Spyway to Hell for all the cat lovers out there. Someone must love them. Some positive news. Um, some politicians are fighting back against the masked man after 27 Republican governors or attorneys generals have vowed to fight the latest executive order by masked man mandating that over 80 million private employees receive the jabs or undergo weekly testing, or their employer will be fined. Now, the executive order directs the US Department of Labor Office and Safety and Health Administration to require private businesses with more than 100 employees that their workers receive both jabs or undergo testing, and non-compliance would result in fines of $14,000 per violation. Well, that was just about enough for these 27, and the governors who expressed opposition include those from Arizona, Alabama, Alaska, Arkansas, Florida, Georgia, Idaho, Indiana, Iowa, Kansas, Missouri, Mississippi, Montana, Nebraska, New Hampshire, North Dakota, Ohio, Oklahoma, South Carolina, South Dakota, Tennessee, Texas, Utah, West Virginia, and Wyoming. Now, the Republican attorneys general from states with Democratic governors who also vowed to fight, including Kentucky Attorney General Daniel Cameron and Louisiana Attorney General Jeff Landry. And the Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, with whom Biden has sparred over mask mandates and vaccine passports, said Florida would fight back also. Nice to see some common sense in political ranks, and it'll be interesting to see just how many of them disappear. Wildlife crossings. Many of them have been popping up in the last few decades, and it is said that that are more than simple road signs as you speed down the highway. And conservationists use all sorts of methods to try to keep the animals safe from becoming roadkill or having their habitats fragmented. And increasingly, animal bridges are being employed around the globe in order to preserve our ecosystems. Now, in the United States alone, it is estimated that road systems affect the ecology of 1/5 the land area of the country, and that vehicle-animal collisions cost $8 billion a year. Now, wildlife overpasses and underpasses help assist animals to safely pass over or under busy roadways and allows them to continue their path within their habitat, which would otherwise be blocked by the roads. Now, the first animal bridges sprung up in France in the 1950s, and in fact, Europe is a leader in this particular sector. The Netherlands alone has 600 wildlife crossings, including overpasses and ecoducts that protect its populations of badgers, boars, and deer. And they can also boast of having the world's longest wildlife overpass. The massive Naterbrug Zanderij Krelu is about a half-mile long, crossing a rail line, the river, a business park, and a sports complex. Now, it is said just a quarter of the $8 billion cost for damages in the US between vehicles and wildlife was set aside. $2 billion. For those of you who didn't go to Johns Hopkins math, would be enough to build 200 animal road crossings per year. And it would eliminate most of roadkills within a generation. The insurance companies should pay for that. They're the ones that pay out. We're off to Holland. We got a report from one of the members, and it's more good stuff. And last Tuesday in Holland, there was again a press conference by the clowns Mark Rutte and Hugo de Jong of the government about the COVID BS measures this coming autumn. And from the 25th this month, the Dutch government will implement the mandatory QR codes for PCR tests and vaccines for entry in restaurants, hotels, festivals and concerts, etc. And the situation here is that the techno jabs are not directly mandatory, but more indirect. And soon the unvaccinated will not be allowed to go anywhere, just as the case is in other countries. But here comes the good news. The portal people here are slowly starting to wake up, and they are now critical about the QR code the government announced. And lots of companies are angry and saying they will not comply to take part in this QR code medical apartheid. Holland have witnessed again a crowd of people for the first Formula One race in Holland in years. Its last race was back in 1985. And entrepreneurs of restaurants, event companies, etc. were angry about it and said, if it's possible in Zandvoort during Formula One, why not in restaurants, festivals and nightclubs? Oh, bit of common sense there. Now also the bots people are waking up here as well, and many of them are sorry they took the techno jab. The vaccinated bots people who are awake now even joined the protest march in Amsterdam against the COVID measures, where between 235 and 250,000 people participated on the 5th of September. And many vaccinated people here now see that they've been lied to and thought they will get their freedoms back when fully vaccinated. Since they heard there will be a third jab coming, they don't believe it anymore. They also realise now that when they are fully vaccinated, why still showing the QR code? But in the end, it's already too late for the vaccinated ones, the report said. And to finalise this all, there are good positive things happening here in Holland and still more coming. And it's great to see that vaccinated and unvaccinated people are uniting together now during the protests, as they realise the conspiracy theorists were right all the time. Many companies will not consent to take part in a medical apartheid with the QR codes. And there is a mass awakening going on here in Holland. Good stuff. Reports this week of the Swiss people protesting outside the Rothschilds' castle. Oops. The cowards wouldn't come out and sent military police to fire water cannons at the protesters. But we have to keep going with those types of engagements with these psychopaths. You have no idea what fear you are creating within their circles by doing so. Target the elites' homes, their businesses, pharmaceutical businesses and the media offices, and let's shut them all down. Marching on governments is a complete waste of time. They are irrelevant puppets, as the earlier story proved. But please, let's not lower ourselves with violence, attacks on people or property. The very fact you are outside their doors creates the necessary effect, and the fear factor shifts to them.